Once you have things in Zotero, there are some things you can do within there that will help to organize them and make them more useful for you. The first thing that I'll show you is how to create folders, or actually in Zotero these are called collections. At the moment, I've got a whole bunch of things that I've imported one way or another into Zotero, and the thing is they're on all different subjects, and I'm going to pretend I'm working on two different projects here, and I'm going to create collections for each of those. So I've got my library, I'm right clicking, and I have the option to create a new collection, so I will do that. This one is going to be on race, slavery, and Civil War. And a subsection of that, I'm going to create a sub-collection for just the articles dealing with Missouri in particular. And then I'm going to go back up to the My Library level and right-click, make another new collection, and call this one Social Vampires and Sick Puppies, because that's my other project. Now I go back to my library and I'm going to start sorting things into the folders. So I'm actually going to make this all full screen. Hit that little button in the upper right hand corner to do that. That way I won't be distracted with the actual website back there, because I'm working mostly in Zotero now. So I'm going to select some items to put into my first folder. I'm holding down the Command key. I've got a Mac. If I were using Windows, I would be holding down the Control key at this point. So I'm holding down Command, and I'm going to grab a bunch of these articles. Most of the, whoops, not that one. That's my other project. So there's the ones that have to do with my first project. So I have them selected. I can let go of the mouse now. Now I will drag them by left clicking and just dragging everything over to race, slavery, and Civil War, and then very carefully I let go of the mouse. And if I click on that folder now, I can see that everything's over there. If I click back on my library, everything's still over here. All it's done is create copies of all those records. Excuse me. Now I want to select out the ones that are just Missouri. So I'm going to select this one, and that one, and that one, that one, that one, not that one, not that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one. Oh, and that one. Okay, so a bunch of these have to do with Missouri. So I drag them over to Missouri and let go. And likewise, they have stayed in the original folder. So I can always make subfolders and kind of move them around that way. Now, to put the stuff in the other one, I go back to my library, and just to make it easy, I'm going to go to my unfiled items, and that will get rid of everything that I've already put in a folder and just show me the things that aren't yet in a folder. And I'm going to just take everything in here. I'm going to click on the top one, hold down the Shift key, and this is the same whether you're using Windows or Mac. Hold down the Shift key, click on the bottom one, and I'm going to put all of these over to my Social Vampires and Sick Puppies. So now I have nothing left that's unfiled, and if I want to go back and see everything at once, I can always go to my library. Okay, so much for that. Now there is another thing I'm going to draw to your attention though, and that is duplicate items. You want to avoid duplicate items because well, just trust me, you do. When it comes to the writing and citing part of Zotero, duplicate items just cause a big pain for you, so you want to get rid of them. But it happens all the time, right? You know, say for project number 1, right now, I grab an article, and then the next week or the next month or the next year, I accidentally grab the same article again and put it in Zotero. I want to avoid that. So I go to the duplicate items folder, and these are items that Zotero has selected or has figured out are duplicates. And once I'm in that folder, if I go over here and click on them, I get this prompt over in the right-hand side of the page to merge the two items. And then I just have to choose which one is going to be the master item. Now, if I click on this top one, and often I will look at where they came from. Like this one's coming from Google Scholar, which sometimes is a little bit spotty as far as what it's got in there. I know that that one's the one I brought in first, and it's also the one that has that nice link to my PDF that I kind of like. And then, so I'm thinking maybe I'll make that my master. So then I click on this other one though to see, and I'm like, oh, that's nice. That one has the DOI. I kind of want the DOI. So I think maybe actually I'll make that one my master record. So I select that one and I hit merge two items. And now they're no longer in the duplicate items folder. But what has happened to the attachments here for each of those things? If I go back to my library and find this thing, that was this article here, it's showing that it has stuff, and look at that. It's got everything. It grabbed everything together. So have no fear about attachments when you're merging records. It's going to take every possible associated attachment and throw them all in there. Now, because I don't want to be keeping PDFs in Zotero, I will at this point take my full text PDF and move it to the trash, because we already know that I've got a link. If I want that full text PDF, I just click that thing and it's going to take me right over to my actual PDF and my actual folder outside of Zotero. So that's a little bit of duplicate control. It is also a good idea, though, just in case, I don't have an example of this showing, but it can sometimes happen that you've got duplicates in there that Zotero doesn't actually recognize as duplicates and put them in the duplicate items folder. That can happen, like if you have a list of things in my library, you will often find things that are very similar to one another but not quite the same. Like sometimes I've brought things in from the Scopus database where the author is listed by initials only, not by first name, and then that clashes with a record from somewhere else, and it's not quite similar enough that Zotero puts it in duplicate items. So what I will usually do is do a sort every once in a while, like whenever I'm about to be starting a writing project, I will sort my library by title, because title is usually kind of where duplicates or near duplicates become pretty obvious. And then if I have a couple of things next to each other that look like they're all the same item, I might have to do a little bit more by hand because it's not giving me that nice merging of duplicates process there. But at some point I'll probably want to delete one of them and maybe, look at them and compare by hand, what the metadata is like, and keep the one with the better metadata, but also make sure that I've got a link to my PDF if one of those records has that. So just a word to the wise is be careful with that to avoid duplication, either the duplication that Zotero can detect and puts in there, or the duplication that sometimes Zotero doesn't detect. So a good thing to do, little housekeeping thing before you get started on your writing project. And that way, when you get started on your writing project, everything will go super smoothly, and you will be very glad that you've got Zotero to help you.